Hello, welcome to 70 Years, 70 Muppets, a Muppet fan podcast presented by toughpigs.com. This is a podcast where we celebrate the Muppets' 70th anniversary with 70 straight weeks of spotlights on our favourite Muppet characters, from the most popular to the most obscure. I am this week's host, Jarrod Fairclough, and the Muppet of the Week is Walter, performed by Peter Linz and designed by Paul Andreyko, making his world debut in 2011. Now, this week's going to be a little bit different. Rather than record a brand new podcast for Walter, instead I'm going to play for you all a pilot I shot a little while ago, which unfortunately was not picked up. The show would have had actors and filmmakers come and talk in front of an audience of students with the hope of inspiring them. I called my show Inside the Actors Studio, and my first episode was with Peter Linz as we discussed Walter. So please sit back and enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have the pleasure of welcoming a truly remarkable talent to our stage. With a career spanning decades, he has brought to life some of the most beloved characters in the world of puppetry. From characters like Tutta in Bear in the Big Blue House, to Theo in Between the Lines, Ernie and Harry Monster on Sesame Street, and of course the character we're here to talk about tonight, Walter from the 2011 film The Muppets. His work continues to delight audiences of all ages, and his dedication to his craft and his ability to infuse each character with heart and humour have made him a standout in the world of puppetry. Please join me in welcoming to the actor's stage the incredibly talented Peter Linz. Peter, what are your parents' names?
My mother's name is Fran, and my father's name was Gerhard.
Gerhard.
Yes,
What?
he was a refugee from Germany. And I'm going to get the year wrong, but yes, he escaped the Nazis. His parents put him on a boat. He was on one of the last Kindertransport to make it to the U.S.
That's very, very interesting. And I'm acting pretentious, but I genuinely think that's very interesting.
It's very interesting, yeah.
But no, I have to get back into character.
Yes.
What did your parents do for a living?
My mother is an artist. She did some computer stuff back in the 80s, but she has done any and every type of art. From shaker boxes and stained glass to wood carving, painting, pastels, oils, mosaics. I know I'm going to forget some other things. Very, very creative. And a singer and a recorder player. My father, an early multi-hyphenate. He started out, he had his master's in electrical engineering, and then he went to seminary and became an Episcopal priest, and liked the counseling aspect of that so much he went back to school and got his doctorate in psychology and was a counseling psychologist. Oh, and a cryptographer, which he also was very much into ciphers and cryptography, and even wrote a book on the subject.
And what is that book called?
Oh!
Ooh, we don't know.
We don't know.
That's fine.
My sister would know.
That's fine.
I'm sorry. Back to being pretentious.
But
I
yes,
don't know.
yes.
It's if you don't know, you don't know.
Yes. Well, you were raised in Georgia. What does being from Georgia mean to you?
Sweet tea, boiled peanuts, cider, and humidity. Also, it's where I got this outrageously thick Southern accent.
I was going to say, I'm having trouble understanding you with your accent.
I'm sorry, I'll slow down a little bit.
It's fine. I have heard that from every American I've ever spoken to, that they can't understand my accent.
What?
That was a good joke. Peter, you have a BA in psychology. but now you're a puppeteer. Why
Mhm.
puppetry?
Well, I mean, it's such an obvious career. There's so many people that make a really good living at it. There seems to be a tremendous demand for film and television puppeteers, and it was just a no-brainer. Uh, Besides that, I have no other marketable skills. I'm incapable intellectually or physically or any other way of doing any other career other than the one that I have. So yeah, chalk it up to good luck and bad genes.
How does psychology play a part in your current work, if at all?
Well, absolutely. I use my BA in psychology every day I lord it over my wife who has a BA in art history.
You make it very hard for me to be pretentious when you're giving such funny, thoughtful answers. But Peter, we're here to talk about one man only, and that is, well, is he a man or a muppet?
Mm.
Ba-boom. We're talking about Walter. How did that audition come about?
I don't recall if it was a phone call or an email, but it was one of those things. And they said, "Hey, we're doing a movie. There's a new character. We'd like you to audition." So I said, "No, okay."
Makes sense. That tracks.
Uh,
Was
that
that
tracks. And yeah.
was that the first you'd heard about Walter, or had Walter been talked
Actually,
about in the past?
I had heard about Walter weeks before. There was a very odd table read for that movie that was done in New York City, and they needed a couple of us to do fill in some voices for crowd scenes or whatever. So uh, I went to the table read. So I had actually heard a very early draft of the script. And I say it was an odd table read because they had cameras for every person around the table. There was an individual camera pointed at them. And they made something of I believe, I don't know if it exists somewhere in deep the Disney archives, but they edited together something of a storyboard, an audio storyboard using just our faces. The camera would just cut to whoever was talking. So there was, I don't know, a bunch of people and like 2 dozen cameras pointed at each individual person.
Well, we have a clip of that now. We don't.
Ah, here we go.
We,
Let's go to the clip.
there we
Oh,
go.
this is audio, right?
Oh, that's right.
Fascinating. It really
Oh,
is
that was great. That was
something to
great.
see.
We'll pretend we saw it.
Perfect,
That was
perfect.
wonderful.
And so I had only heard about Walter in that context, but I think the character it kept evolving and changing even from that table read.
So you didn't play
But
Walter in that table read?
no, no, I think Bill did.
Okay.
But it was again, it was a different type of a character, and the script changed a lot.
Hmm. Do you
It
remember?
evolved a lot.
Oh, it did. I mean, I have read early versions of that script, and it
Mm.
is bonkers. Do you remember what you did for the audition?
I sweat a lot. I believe I trembled. I had heart palpitations, and I had fun. I don't remember specifically. I know there was some play back and forth. There was a little bit of improv, and there was some singing. And I just had fun with it. I couldn't tell you specifically what, but that was only the first audition. Um, the callback audition was in Los Angeles at a hotel, and there was improving with Jason. James Bobin was in the room running the audition, and Jason was there, and so I got to play with him on camera. We did a couple of scenes. We sang a duet. I believe we sang "Don't Go Breaking My Heart," Elton John and Kiki D. And
Do you remember which
oh, and
part
there's some
you did?
no, I think I was Kiki
Okay.
D. Um, and oh yeah, I did this improv bit with. I said Walter was this big Muppet fan, so he wrote some fan fiction for Tough Pigs, and so I went into this whole Star Wars rant, this the Star
Interesting.
Wars alternate universe thing, which Jason I think was very charmed by.
Uh, well, I mean, do you continue to use fans as inspiration now? Because as a fan, where's my cut of your salary?
Yes. I'm sorry. I was going through a tunnel. I didn't hear that last question, but I got the first part. Um, yeah, I definitely had to use fans for inspiration because I didn't really know anything about the Muppets before auditioning for Walter. So I was like, well, what are Muppet fans like? I really have no idea what that means to be. And I've been a Muppet fan since I could crawl.
So when you did this audition, was Walter built, or were you using like an anything Muppets?
It was a mock-up. It was a mock-up of what the final puppet would come to look like. So it was not the final version of Walter, but it also wasn't just any old anything Muppet that was lying around.
Mm-hmm.
It was a rough little hand and rod puppet.
Well, if people want to go on, I think it's Puppet Heaps Facebook page, possibly their Instagram, they literally just, as we record this a few hours ago, posted some artwork of like the mock-ups of Walter.
Really?
They really
Go
did.
check that. To go see that. Wow. Oh,
Um,
good. So I didn't just make that up. Phew.
no. You share a voice with Walter. You do some great characters with some great voices, but Walter and yourself sound very, very similar. Was that intentional, or did you try different things?
No one's ever said that to me before. Wait, Walter,
Oh,
it like sounds like my own voice?
a
That's
little.
weird.
Oh, okay. This is awkward.
I uh no, of course. I no well and I've said this in interviews before, but the one tip that I was given for the callback was that they said no one gave them exactly what they were looking for, but you guys all came the closest. And I was told the one thing that the one tip was that if the part were going to be cast as a human, that they would have given the job to Michael Cera. So I started watching every Michael Cera project I could get my hands on and trying to impersonate, try to capture get his vocal quality. And so I passed the audition doing that. But Bill suggested during a table read, he said, the voice you're doing sounds really young. And I know we're trying to sell that Walter's not a kid. He's probably in his early 20s. And he said, you have kind of a young sounding voice. What if you just use your own voice? So we read a scene. We just read the whole script and I did what I did. Then we said, let's go back. We'll read this scene and just use your own voice. And I did that. And everyone at the table was like, oh yeah, that's it. Do that. And for me personally, it was one of the hardest puppetry gigs I've ever had because it was the first time that I had done that. It's like, this just sounds like this is just a guy. And you put a puppet on high, I'm just a guy. It's just
Yeah.
really, really odd. And it was a big mental thing for me to break through. And Bill was so good the first few weeks of filming. We'd do a scene, he'd come whisper in my ear, oh, he's sounding a little young. Right. Then I start to go into it, sound like Pip. Not quite that bad, but anyway, he kept me honest. And now I can do it, but it was a big thing for me to work through, for sure.
Well, it's interesting you doing that voice there. It had a little bit of the Robin about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I like.
Robin. Yes, me trying to embody Robin. My dear friend David Rudman, when I was first working with Robin and trying to get the voice, trying to get some notes from him, because of course he worked with Jerry for years.
Mm-hmm.
And my dear friend David Rudman gave me just the kindest thing. He said, well, it looks like Robin.
Oh, bless him. Bless him. We love him.
It was the right thing to say.
What an absolute monster.
No, he's the worst. No, I love that man.
We do. But back to Walter. Again, back to pretentious mode. Walter is a character that criminally, in my opinion, is somewhat used sparingly. Is there a dream project you'd like for him?
A remake of It's a Wonderful Life with Walter starring as George Bailey.
I mean, isn't it royalty free? What's the word? In the public domain?
Oh, is it? Well, let's get right on that.
Let's get it. Let's cut the podcast here.
Except
talk
the whole
about
time. The whole time, he's going to be doing a really bad impersonation Mary, where's our kids? I need you. George, tell me where she is. Clarence, she's just about to close up the library.
I haven't seen enough of It's a Wonderful Life to understand these references, but all I know is that at one point there's a Bert and Ernie.
There is, yes.
There is.
Yes. Bert the cop and Ernie the cab driver.
We'll be back after this break.
Tonight's top story, why are there so many songs about rainbows? We'll find out from the source himself, the ghost of Spiro Agnew, tonight.
We finish our evening with the questionnaire popularised by my hero Bernard Pivot for 26 glorious years. Peter, what is your favourite word?
Residual.
What is your least favourite word?
Middle-aged.
What excites you?
A really good cup of coffee.
What doesn't excite you?
A really bad cup of coffee.
What sound or noise do you love?
The sound inside a car as you drive over a drawbridge.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Repetitive probing questions.
What is your favourite curse word?
One I learned from my father. Great day in the morning.
That's a great answer. And hello to Frank at Muppet Studio, who definitely had a panic attack hearing that question. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I'd like to go into art history.
What profession would you not like to participate in?
Anything that requires me to be in a medical building or hospital.
Finally, Peter, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say as you arrive at the pearly gates?
You got the job.
Peter Linz, thank you.
Thank you.
"70 Years, 70 Muppets" is a Muppet Fan podcast presented by ToughPigs.com, hosted by a whole myriad of people and edited by them as well. Produced by Jarrod Fairclough. The Muppets 70 logo used with permission by the Muppet Studio with thanks to Danny Iglesias, Frank Reif-Snyder and Lee Slaughter. Don't forget to follow ToughPigs.com on all social media platforms. You can support us by heading to patreon.com/toughpigs or buying a t-shirt at tpublic.com/toughpigs.